ready for day 44, working on Project Hatchet. We are focused on our custom abilities today, and it's a big day. This is the last step of the tertiary implementation phase. This is our third major round of changes. This is going to be the last thing that we have to address before we do a bunch of cleanup and then start putting together our next phase. We've already got some notes on what we're going to be covering for that, but this is the last should be the last full day of having to do any implementations for phase 3. We'll have to go through and verify what we covered, verify if we're missing anything, double check if there's any parts we need to expand on, or basically anything that we missed, anything that we covered in excess. We will have to update all of our documentation, basically. So with that being said, I'm just going to make sure that I've pulled up all of my different chats right now, because I'm still getting used to how the streaming to YouTube part works, since we got that added yesterday as well. And I specifically need to make sure that I have the titles correct. There we go. Okay, I do see that it is Impossible Project, MMORPG and Go, day 44, custom abilities. We have it there. This is perfect. Now, I can divert my attention over to this. This is likely not going to be the longest day of stream because I'm not feeling the best. But we gotta do what we gotta do, and what we gotta do is get looking at T11 ability modification. Well, and I gotta address my layout. I don't know what happened, but it sent everything kind of all over the place, and okay. There we go. All right, let's get looking through the T11 basic ability modifications. So the goal of this is that we are going to be implementing a permanent ability modification system using we're going to start with a single item type, which is going to be the Force Crystal. This is going to be the guaranteed drop from the Orc boss. So we're going to add in that, make sure that it's available in game. Player right clicks on an ability slot, not the item, to apply the crystal, permanently increasing the ability's force by 100. Permanently, because you can remove it technically. Modifications survive error resets. So, the force... remove the ability, because modifications need to be able to be modified. So we're going to add in the Force Crystal. Droppable. False players cannot drop it manually. It only leaves inventory via application. Not sold to vendor. 1 crystal per inventory slot. No stacking. This might not be true. Able to be sold to vendor. Why? No, these players can drop it. Notes, add. These items must be tradable, droppable, sellable. This ties into one of the core concepts of not restricting players' options. If they wish to waste... I'm not going to add those parts. but this ties directly into one of the core tenets that we are building around this game, in that the players get near absolute freedom for how they treat all of the materials, drops, resources, etc. that they get. So if they want to sell it to a vendor, they can. They can't stack it. If they want to drop it, they can drop it. I don't care. It's up to the player to determine how they want them handled. Now, next up is the Orc Boss drop config. So the Orc Boss already has a config. It's just not activated. Nothing actually gets dropped from it at the moment. Now, there we go. Had to make sure I actually had live chats opened. And okay. So we have the drop config already. Ability force, drop rate is 1.0, just because we need to be able to get it for testing. Drop rate 1.0 guaranteed tune via config. No code changes needed to adjust the rate later. Applied modification schema, player session, applied modification, modifier item ID, state delta, applied at. So this is going to allow the +100 force error ID when applied for auditing. Modifier item stat and a timestamp. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Persistence interface, ability modifications map, applied modifications. This field is never cleared on error reset. In fire reset, the ability modifications block it explicitly excluded from the cycle state wipe. On load, ability modifications is applied to the compute the player's effective ability force values before the player enters the world. So we've got the wire, which is apply modifier payload, ability modified payload. Okay. Man, this is gonna be a tough stream for me. My head is not in a good spot right now. Very, very much have just a dull headache, which is making staring at the screen a bit more tough than I would like it to be. But we will push on. Server handler actions, so action apply modifier, lookup item config, confirm the player has the item in the inventory, validate ability slot is in range 1 to 7, check item potency. If ability modification slot already contains reject already applied, no. Apply modification, remove crystal from inventory, compute the effect for the force compute new effective force for the slot, send. Actually, so one of the things I was wondering is if I actually want the players to be able to remove modifiers easily or not. Yeah, I think they should be able to. I think we'll add a separate thing for being able to remove the modifiers. I don't think you'll be able to add a modifier while there's already one there, but you should be able to remove the modifiers off of them. Effective force computation, the ability's base force comes from the ability config. Total modification delta is this. So we're just gonna set the range, ability modification slot, total mod stat delta. The delta is added to the ability resolution time in resolve melee, resolve projectile, resolve nature's fall, etc. rather than stored separately on each ability use. The server fetches base force plus total force delta. Client right click on ability slot, HUD context menu, add right click handling for each ability slot icon. On right click, check if the player has a modifier item in inventory. If yes, show context menu option, apply crystal or specific item name. If no crystal in inventory, show grade, apply crystal option with tooltip. No, we're gonna redo this. We're gonna redo this. Notes to add. Right click allows to select modify option. Modify option opens a panel in the middle of the screen with uh, inventory slots for each of the open modifiers. Slots for each of the modifiers on the ability. This shows items that have already been applied in the inventory slots or in the modification slots. Modification. So basically you'll be able to see the ability in, or the item there. A modifier can then be clicked from inventory to add it to one of the modification slots. An accept slash actually no modify button must be clicked on the panel to apply the modifications. Modification identifier. When Delta ability modified is received, store the modification in this in the modification slot. If ability modification slot is not empty, draw a small crystal indicator, a colored dot, or a small players must be able to remove a modification from these slots as well. Draw a small crystal indicator, a colored dot, or a small overlay icon on the bottom corner of the ability slot. Persist across zone transitions. Additions, wire. We're going to have to wire the ability modification payload. JSON ability modifications empty. This lets the client reconstruct the modification state on login and zone transfer. Error reset preservation, so basically it's just not going to wipe it out during the error reset, which is exactly what we want. Add a comment explicitly documenting the ability modifications is intentionally excluded. Notes to add. Support. Make sure the number of slots on an ability is able to be changed dynamically in the future based off of the feat points. The modify panel could have an enhance option to increase the number of modifier slots on the ability. This will be done later by spending points on the review the T11 ability modifications document. There are a series of notes to add that have been applied. Propagate these notes across the document. Do not make any code changes. There we go. And then I'm going to open up I'm going to just pop the game open as well. Go run /. So we'll pop the server. The cat is being very, very hungry. So I will probably go give the cat a little bit of early food so that they calm down for a bit. So I will pop the game open here. Run over to the building, or the herbs at least, and then Okay, the cat is taken care of for a bit. Oh, my head is... Wow, my head is not having fun. Okay, we've got the changes made to the document. Let's minimize the game again. Changes made to the document section 1. Fixed the JSON to match the notes. To match the notes and replaced the contradictory bullets with a single design rationale paragraph about the player's economic freedom. Added mod slots as a config-driven field on the ability config, so slot count is never hard-coded. Wired the changeable via feat points later constraint here at the schema level. Added modifier remove and remove modifier payload changed. Delta ability modifier to carry the full modification list, not a single entry. Added slots to the state, Delta player state, so the client knows how many slots to render without hard coding. Rewrote action apply modifier to gate on mod slots from config. Applied the full action remove ability modifier. Handler included the inventory full rejection path. Section 6 replaced the simple apply crystal context menu option with full panel UX. Staged local changes, confirm button, removal flow, enhance placeholder button, and cost without enclose without confirmed behavior. Expanded testing to cover removal, staged but not confirmed changes, the enhanced placeholder, and the mod slot config test. So let's take a look at this. Implement a permanent ability modification system using the single item type of force crystal for now. Guaranteed drop from the orc boss for now. Right clicks with ability slot to open the modification panel. From that panel, they place the crystal from their inventory into the abilities modification slot. Remove previous applied crystals and confirm the changes. Modifications survive error resets. The number of modification slots per ability is designed to be increased later via feat points. Panel must accommodate this without structural changes. So we updated these. These items are fully tradable, droppable, sellable, restricting players' options on economy items is against the design philosophy. Players who no longer want a crystal should be able to recoup value from it rather than being forced to hold on to it. Modification slot count is driven by the ability config, not hard-coded. Each ability gains an optional mod slots end field. Default 1. The server reads this count when validating panel submissions and when sending modification state to the client. This makes increasing slot count via feat points a pure config / data change later. So we've added the remove structures with the delta ability modified. Tells the client how many modification slots the ability slot currently has. Okay. There is one thing that I know is missing from here as well, is that when these abilities are applied to a spell, or really to anything, they have to also cause modifications on the other traits of the abilities. So we will pop back up to the add and remove. Note the add. Adding or removing the modifiers also causes other changes to the abilities. Adding to a modifier item needs to have modifications effects, i.e. longer charge time for melee, smaller sweet spot, or move the spot left/right. Modify the chain amount. Modify the chain amount, cooldown, mana, etc. Add new what are they specifically called in the abilities? Add new waypoint, add or modify portions of the waypoints for spells. Add / modify portions of waypoints for other stats on the spells. Well, these must be added / removed of crystal. Difficulty be mentioned in the examine text of the crystal, i.e. Increases cast difficulty for spells, melee, I have added some more notes to add regarding the features which are missing from the task. These outline the other drawbacks of modifying an ability and need to be accounted for / incorporated into the plan. Yeah, this would not be something that would be fun to add later again, so we want to make sure that we account for this now. This has been in the planning docs for quite a long time. It's one of the core features of this. It's the drawback for modifying your spells away from the basics. Because modifiers can be pretty much everything, they also go both ways though. And the part of this that I really want the most is specifically the spell casting difficulty ones related to the sweet spot, or not the sweet spot, the waypoints. Oh, my head hurts. This is gonna be a short stream. This is definitely gonna be a short stream. The note has wide propagation impact. A modifier isn't just plus force, it's a compound trade-off package. Force gains paid with harder mechanics, charge time, sweet spot, mana. This reshapes the item config schema, the applied modifiers struct, and the wire payload. All three resolve or recall sites. This panel's info display. Let me propagate this properly. Yeah, this is why I needed to make sure that this was all outlined in here beforehand, because it would be a real mess to try to adjust later. While it's doing that, I can still play the game though. Oh, just a headache. How are you doing today anyways? I was debating whether I wanted to actually do anything today, and I want to at least work on something anyways, make some progress. It's better than none. So I was like, all right, I'll just deal with trying to look at a screen for a while. Kind of surprised that doesn't one-shot the goblins. Come on, everything looks so close together on the mini-map. They're all so far apart. Gotta head all the way up here to see a couple things on the screen at once. I don't know why I'm specifically trying to find this. I gotta hop back over to the document anyways to review what was added. Item config added examine text and modifier effects array to the JSON. The crystal now declares its full trade-off package as a data. Resolvers consume only the stats they care about, so the flat list works across all ability types without branching. Ooh, new PC or just new upgrades or something for it. Schema config struct changed, a snapshot. Oh, speaking of other changes, I also have character stats, I have equipment, I have other options. I feel like there's something I'm missing. Oh, right, I have the other NPCs that you can interact with. Yeah, there's been so much progress. It's been a lot of fun. It's really great to see how quickly the progress happens. Wire now carries the deltas. Server. Snapshotting at apply times means a rebounds crystal doesn't retroactively change existing modifiers. The player agreed with those specific costs. Apply step snapshots all effects from config into stat delta. Effective force computation replaced with general function that sums all deltas across all modifications, plus a table mapping each resolver to the stats it reads. Added a trade-off panel, now shows the net stat diff from stat changed, with both gains and costs labeled. This is necessary the player understands what they're committing to. Expanded to verify each drawback stat takes effect at resolve time. Okay, there is one other thing that's not accounted for here. When the modifier takes place, changes to spells need to properly regenerate the QuickTime event. This needs to be properly communicated between server and wire, or server and client for storage and verification. So need to make sure the plan is for crystal to add an additional click modifier. Review the required documentation. These should be up in design. In modifier architecture. Here's chain window modifiers, active modifier tracking, status, bleed deferred. Old PC, new place. Oh, you moved. Nice. Yeah, if I pull this back up, this QuickTime event is specifically 3 verticals. I'm working on making it so that it actually, like, this current task is making it so that these will be automatically modified to add an additional. Also, No Trick, thank you for the follow. How are you doing? Okay, I know I have the modifiers here somewhere. QuickTime segment time limit. QuickTime segment time scaling. Okay. Scales with QuickTime execution quality, QuickTime accuracy. I'm just trying to point this to the correct document at the moment as well, because I know I have an area where I already discussed or described what has to happen here. Oh, it might be in the QuickTime architecture. Overview. Modif. Here we go. In the QuickTime architecture document. Everything is going well progress-wise. I'm forcing myself to work with a bit of a headache, but that's just because I know I'll feel worse if I don't make any progress versus if I just make less progress or have more difficult of a time making some progress. So want to get this last bit together for the phase, because that means I can actually get cleanup and planning started tomorrow, which is a lot of fun because I've started looking into the next phase ideation of what's going to be covered in that. It's a lot of stuff that'll make things hopefully look better and actually have a bit more variety to things. It's out of bounds details. It'll be a map editor so I can add the things better. Going to actually enable saving, do a bunch of the mob reworks for like damage, HP, and actual little bit of balancing. So it'll be the first time to actually go back and rebalance a bunch of stuff, adding more resources and skill requirements and UI cleanup. So that's what I'm hoping to get to tomorrow. So I'm hoping that today I can get through this whole phase. All right, there's a lot that's being added to this right now. Have a full picture. Several important technical details need to propagate into T11. Crystal adds click type waypoint specifically, not a drag. The architecture treats these very differently. No path line. The modifier is already stubbed in architecture phase 11 notes. T11 must define how it's computed. The spell patterns cache must be invalidated when modifications change. Otherwise, the old waypoint set is refused. Okay, it's good to see that that's actually included in there now. The extra click waypoint is appended after the generated drag waypoints in the stage using the modifier hash for its position. Server sends full built with extra waypoint. Okay. All right. Thank you for stopping by. Always great catching up with you. Yeah, the sprites are all placeholders at the moment. Hope you don't burn out and head feels bit. Thank you. Appreciate that as well. Just want to tell you why I'm here. Want to learn some things regarding software and improving my English. I think your accent is well understandable for English learners. By the way, I'm studying in university at software engineering department. Awesome. I wish you the best of luck with that. And I know you can't really use it or shouldn't be using it for your actual studies portion of it, but make sure you're at least trying out some of the AI tools that are available outside of it, because it's very important in the industry right now. It's facing a lot of adoption, regardless of what you hear people saying. All right, so I don't think that it's made really a lot of changes here yet. Modifier slot count. I'm just doing a quick scan to see if there's any mentions of the new parts. Okay, the resolver. Resolver's not too intricate. Start QuickTime. Okay. QuickTime architecture documents the modifier hash to pass to 0 and generate trace stage in phase 10. It will be computed from real modifications in phase 11. This is that implementation. Okay, so we are including a lot from the documentation that was written up before. Modifier hash computation after looking up the ability config for the slot compute modifier hash. The computed hash sorts the modifier item ID string. This is in the slice lexicographically, joins them and runs new 64A over the result. This is just This is just alphabetically, isn't it? Lexical dictionary order is a method of sorting elements in the sequence based on their components, analogous to how words are arranged. So it's alphabetically, right? This is an interesting sorting. Oh, okay. So this is alphabetically with numbers and symbols. Got it. That's the specific distinction. Okay, we do have the updates here now. So here's a summary of every change made in Y, section 1 item config. To be precise about the waypoint type, examine text updated waypoint, click target. So the in-game tooltip matches what the player actually sees in the overlay. Server handlers apply and remove, applied cache invalidation step to both action apply modifier and action remove modifier. So this means that'll actually be updated. The architecture's cache hit check only tests stage count, not waypoint count. So without this, the old pattern missing the extra click target is reused. Even after the crystal is applied, section 5, new subsection, QuickTime stage integration. The architecture's doc had a deliberate phase 11 stub. Modifier hash is 0 for phase 10. We'll use the real modifier hashes in phase 11. So that's this that we were literally just going over. It's computed from ability modifications over sorted modifier IDs. Same mods always produce the same hash, so patterns are reproducible across reconnects and casts. Extra click waypoint is appended after all the drag waypoints using a deterministic position seeded by modifier hash plus stage index plus click index with rejection sampling to maintain min-sep norm. If waypoint types was previously nil, the full array is populated before pending click entries. Client receives a standard QuickTime start payload, no client changes needed. Trade-off preview label +1 waypoint to +1 click target using the player-facing label, not the internal set key. Added stats are relevant to the ability type, are emitted on the preview, and then testing was just updated. Of course, definitely agree with the thought. AI-assisted developing is real crucial for standing out, especially when you apply for a new job. You know, nowadays, fastly adapting to new tech or any improvements is important. Yeah, but again, it's still more important than ever to have the baselines understand. It's all good. The baselines understand it, because that's what you really need to be able to get any good results out of the AI still. Applying the crystals deliberate trade-off. Okay, I should just read this full goal. Implement a permanent ability modification system using the single item type of force crystal, guarantee drop from the orc boss. That's all the same. Modification survive error resets. The modification slot is from the panel. So the trade-offs are outlined there a bit. Modifier effects. Okay, so we're adding a lot more fields to the actual crystal. That's good. Modifier, mana cost, charge time, sweet spot size, quick time, click waypoints. Modifier effects is a flat list of stat and delta. Pairs each ability. Resolver reads only the stats relevant to the ability type and ignores the rest, so single crystal config applies correctly across melee, projectile chain, spell abilities without per type branches in the data file. These items are fully tradable, droppable, and sellable. Restricting player options on economy items is against the design philosophy. Yeah, we had that last time. Stat names are an open string set. Server maps them to ability fields at resolve time. See, I might spend a little bit of extra time on this one as well, just to make sure certain effects are working or wired in or ready and available to be expanded on. But I think getting it in just as a baseline initially isn't going to be too bad. I'm not sure if it's something that'll be worth blocking a bit more extra time to focus on specifically, or if it's something that would be like get it working, come back to it later. So stat deltas snapshotted from the item config at time or at apply time means the crystal config is later rebalanced existing applied modification retain their original value. The player consented to the specific trade-offs when they pressed modify. Modification slot count is driven from feats, which is not important at the moment. On loadability modification is used to compute players' effective stat values. Okay. Yeah, I try to do... Well, I work on this pretty much every day, and I try to live stream it because that is the best way for me to at least document my own progress on it. Ability Delta Modified carries the full modification list and the server resolved effect stats for. So if you're interested in seeing how the game progresses at all, I hope to see you again many times in the future, because this is not going to be a short project in the slightest. Client uses the effective stats. So we've got the ability modifications and the mod ability slots, or the mod slot count. Tells us how many modification slots the ability slot currently has. The client uses this count to render the correct number of slots. Yeah, that all checks out. Now here we have check it, potency, validate waypoint cache. Okay, so here's the important parts that were changed. For the ability, the next cast will regenerate the QuickTime pattern using the new modifier hash. Action remove modifier validate the waypoint cache again. Effective stat computation. All stat deltas from every applied modification on the slot are summed together, then added to the ability's base values. The result is the effective stats. Okay, at ability resolution time, the resolver calls effective ability stats, which gets them. QuickTime stage integrations. Okay, this is another part that was just changed that I need to focus on. QuickTime architecture documents that the hash modifiers pass at 0. In phase 10 is computed from... Oh wait, this is the part I was reading before. It hasn't changed. Cache hit conditions. The existing check length cached equals length sufficient because the cache is cleared by extra click waypoints on cache miss after calling generate trace stage. For extra clicks, generate additional click waypoint position using deterministic seed derived from the modifier hash. Awesome, looking forward to seeing you again. You as well. Generate an additional click waypoint position using... I should make sure that this is going to be able to verify the QuickTime modifications and add multiple click/drag waypoints or combination of, not always just at end, but spread across the stuff. Or spread across the quick. There we go. Append the new position to the stage waypoints and click. If waypoint types was previously nil, all drag must be fully populated. For every waypoint before click entry are appended. Nil means all drag per wire spec, so the mixed array must be explicit. Click waypoints are appended after all generated. See, this is what I wanted to make sure isn't the case. In this case, it's going to be a click at the end, but it's not always going to be a click. This means that the player completes a drag trace first, then clicks the additional targets. The ordering is intentional. The drag trace is the skill expression. The click waypoints are added penalty for using the crystal. That's not true at all. Wire output, the modified stage are stored in the player spell patterns and sent in QuickTime start payload. The client receives the fully specified stage payload and requires no changes. It is already handled by the existing tick and render logic. Click waypoint renders a standalone circle as standalone circles with no dotted path line. Opening the panel. Modification panel layout, title bar modification slots, player inventory. It needs to stop trying to add the player inventory to everything. This is not the case. Clicking on occupied modification slot unstages it. Trade-off preview. Confirm, modify, enhance. Placeholder visible but disabled. Panel interaction rules. Closing the panel without clicking modify discard stage changes. Server state is unchanged. If the inventory is full, inline error in the panel. Inventory is full. The panel closes automatically or on zone transfer or death. So I can either wait for this to get through the current changes, or I can make the changes manually as well. I think I might wait a bit and I'll just play the game in the meantime. Should have enough logs to sell for gold to get a pickaxe. This is storage, not the vendor. So I would have to get my witchcraft up a lot of levels. It would take a lot of levels for this. Not sure that it's worth me testing out for I actually start making the modifications. I mean, well, actually, there's no reason not to. It's gonna take a while anyways. So back to here. Instead of having a duplicate display of the inventory, the player needs to use their actual inventory the same way they would for banking / NPC shopping. In the player's inventory, the valid item highlighted. But this needs to be done in the same way as all of the other panel interactions. Make sure I'm actually showing it. But there is a summary here. So section 1, item config, removed QuickTime, click waypoints, delta 1 from modifier effects. Waypoint insertions are not numerical stats. They don't belong in that list. Added a top level modifier waypoint array type click insertion after fraction. The fraction 0.5 places it midway through the pattern, not at the end. Interesting way to go about it. Updated exam. I don't dislike it, so I'm not going to push for anything different. Update examine text mid-cast instead of additional click target to hint at the mid-cast instead of additional click target to hint at the interspersed placement. Section 3 schema, added modifier waypoint struct with waypoint type of string and insert after fraction float. Item config gains the modifier waypoints, which is a list of modifier waypoint alongside the existing modifier effect. Applied modification Snapshot at apply time so the future config changes don't retroactively alter a player's existing pattern. In the wire gains entry, extra waypoint so the panel can show the correct trade-off label. Section 5, ability, effective ability stats, removed QuickTime. Click waypoint from the stats map entirely. Waypoints are processed separately, not as numeric deltas. Updated the resolver table accordingly, no longer reads a waypoint stat. Section 5 is the integration, which was rewritten. Extra waypoints are now collected from extra waypoints, not a stat delta. Sorted by insert after fraction. Each insertion index is computed against the current list length at that point in the loop, so multiple entries interleave naturally as 0.25, 0.75 on a 4 entry waypoint becomes position 1 and 5 in the final 6 waypoint. Okay. Splices both waypoints and waypoint types simultaneously. Both click and drag insertions are supported at any position. Drag insertions create a new segment with a dotted path. Click insertions render as standalone circles. I should also make... This is probably something that I will come back on because I want to make sure that I have this working to begin with before I actually bother to fiddle with the specifics of it. Because I also want to be able to make sure that it's lengthening some of the events or it's shortening some of them or all sorts of modifiers. There's going to be so many different modifiers that need to be able to apply to the spells. Section 6 panel trade-off preview now uses qualitative positioning language mid-pattern, early, late from fraction value and uses drag segment versus click target terminology. Testing here on these. Okay, so I don't see anything about the inventory part now. Oh, there we go. All right, so now the fun part. Now's the fun part. The document for the T11 ability modifications looks good for a starting point now. We will likely come back to this topic for expanding / refining the model, the types / methods of modifications being applied. Keep in mind that modifications need to be extensible and generic, able to be applied across the board with any nerf also being able to be a buff, and vice versa. With any modification being able to be a buff, any modification type being able to be configured as a buff, and vice versa. Reread the entire T11 for the modifications doc and the QuickTime architecture doc. Then produce a to-do list as a plan. Finally, implement a plan covering all of the required changes. There we go. So now that we've got Claude off working on those upgrades from T11, we've got the full plan out, we've got the full requirements and architecture outlined. Now we can spend a bit of time actually just playing and testing the game, and we can jump in and out of the game as Claude comes back with changes. As long as the batch amount of changes go in and work, I'll probably be ending it after that, but that doesn't look like it's going to be any time soon, really. So I'm in no great rush. Just gonna create and use as much stuff as I can right now. Because I have to try to get to level 5 witchcraft so that I can test out creating the vial. Since I now have the pickaxe, I now have the herbs, and I have witchcrafting implemented, I should also have the ability to create mana potions now at level 5. To make another, what, like 11 healing salves, which means I need 33 crushed herb or ground herb. Shouldn't actually take that long to get. It's a good thing I haven't really added any delays on how fast you can make stuff either at the moment, because that would slow this process down a lot. I also really like having this mix of WASD movement and click movement. It actually feels good for controlling the character both in combat and in resource gathering situations, because I really like the WASD for general movement. I do wish I had an auto run option, but I'm sure I can add that in the future. And then being able to just click on what I actually want to interact with is just very nice. Very nice mechanic. Oh, I should have enough now. Actually, if I just... Oh, nope, not quite enough yet. There we go, level 5. Now let's go get some crushed rock as well, because I think it's just herb and let's process herb, craft HP salve. There should be a rock just up here. Okay, I think I need one crushed ore. Okay, I can create mana potions. There's a bit of an issue where like I can't just click. Can't just click on them. But I can craft them, which is cool. I did not collect much wood though. Or wood, I did not collect much water. So let's try these out. Oh yeah, they work real well. They are working real well. I get lots of mana from that. even if I do have to come back and fix that. I should probably make notes of that. Let's click on water / crushed. Yeah, I need to select this mana potion option. This needs to be made consistent all interactions. Actually, click on other or herb to craft it. This needs to be a consistent use function across the board. You can't actually see what I'm typing. I'm just making a list of notes here for things that have to be addressed during this phase / set of updates. This is the tertiary implementation, so third set of things. Wait, did I just walk over the corner? No, I didn't. It's just visual. Just visual, that's fine. I feel like Nature's Fall would make a lot more sense if it was just 2 lines, but I did make it 3 for now. Might also get around to trying out something for the sprites soon, too. Hey, why couldn't I walk into the banker? Banker doesn't sell or buy stuff. Oh, I will need... No, I'll be good for gold. There we go. And we're getting Witchcraft XP from it, too. So that's perfect. That is perfect. Let's see what the plan was anyways, while I farm some logs for gold. Create data items. So we're going to create the item first, update the boss to drop, add modifier effect, modifier waypoint effect to the config, add modifier slots to the player ability config, add boss drop entry to the boss config. Okay, so this is actually making it so that the boss will drop. Add applied modification struct plus ability modification field to the player. Add wire types for apply and remove. Apply, remove, and modified. Re-export new wire constants. Add ability modifications to persistence. Update player to record. Where was I? Update player to record plus player load in persistence. Create internal server modify, handle apply modifier, handle remove modifier. Update start quick time in ability. Wait, where was I? Route apply modifier and remove modifiers to send the updates. Boss drop handler. Update start QuickTime in ability. Real modifier hash plus waypoint splicing. Add modifier fields in client world. Handle delta ability modifier in sync. Create modifier panel. Modifier. Build and fix. Okay. Alright. It's making progress. It's making progress. Man, I can't wait to rework the wire. It's gonna be so satisfying. No more case switch statements. I am gonna go get some water real quick. Okay, I have some water now. And the tree is still not respawned. I was really hoping that it was going to spawn in the time I was gone. How are we supposed to get more gold if the tree's not spawned? Actually, I wonder what the wolf furs sell for. I can't remember. I feel like everything kind of just had like a 1 as a default. We'll take a look though. Alright, so if I sell the fur... Ooh, it's 4? Okay, that's not bad. Let me get it back. What about the MP potion? That's 5. Healing salve? 3. Pickaxe? 10, but it costs 50. I really should make it so that you can actually see the price that he'll buy them from you for, but that doesn't really matter at the moment. It's less of my concern than other things. So, I wonder what the average amount of logs that I get from a tree is. I have not been paying much attention to it. I know I get a lot more wood from this tree than the other trees, but I don't actually know what my average amount, because I haven't been paying attention to that. They've just been setting a min and a max, and... Or actually, I forget, did I set a total amount of resources that can be gathered from them, or did I set a chance of it being depleted? Abilities, mobs, not NPCs, skills, sprites, zones. Zone town main. Here, let me show this. Let me show this while I'm going through. Zone town main. Let me find zone town. Buildings nodes. Wood large remaining 12. Okay, so it's 12 times to gather from it, where you get 3 to 6. Okay. I feel like I should move these into their own configs as well. That's probably how we're going to accomplish that for the next phase, where we're going to be adding a lot more different types of stuff. We're going to move these, we're going to move the nodes into their own configs. There will be a data nodes or resources or something like that. Then these will be defined in there, and these will just reference them by name instead, which should be, I want to say, how they're done here, right? Yeah, forest lurker, because that would be in mobs. Yeah, so we're basically going to do the same thing that we've done with mobs for resources instead. Because I don't want to have these here with that much. It's much easier to look at it like this. I mean, there's going to be an editor added next time, or not next time, but next phase anyways. However, I do want that cleaned up and reformatted. Let's see if it's given me a to-do list anytime recently. Okay, it's getting about halfway through. As long as everything isn't suddenly very broken afterwards, then I'll be happy. Sorry, I'm just double checking on my bot at the moment. It looks like it's running fine. I see the most recent output from 5. I'm supposed to check it right around the time where it actually updates, but I always end up pushing it away or pushing it back. Or not pushing it back, but I end up forgetting about it because it's been running so smoothly now for like 7 months. Oh boy, 7 months already? 8 months. But anyways, it's been running really smoothly, so I kind of just forget about it immediately. The last time I was really worried for it was when I moved it off onto its own server, but that seems to have gone fine. It's been running off of there for I think like 2 months. I've been able to leave it unattended for multiple weeks at a time. It's been great. It's been great. I do need to spend a large chunk of time editing down my past streams to produce the shorts out of it. And then I do need to finish doing the release on my other project. I've got tomorrow off, so I will probably do one of those all day tomorrow. And then stream afterwards and work on this. I think that would be the best way for me to go about doing those. Also, I guess if I just edit a couple of the videos later tonight, I think I already have I did like 2 or 3 example ones, but if I edit a couple more shorts tonight, I can probably start releasing those, then focus on doing my other product release tomorrow instead. Should be able to get all the resources set up. Yeah, I should be able to get all the resources set up that I need for the project release tomorrow at least. Then I can make sure that it's sort of live, I can test it out, and then make sure I get in touch with any of the people that I want to for announcing the release. See if I can get a couple of people interested in it beforehand and then do a full initial announcement of the release. Well, I guess I still have to set up the MCP for it as well, because one of the last things I did was be like, hey, maybe I should make these things available for use with agents as well. So that'll probably be something I have to do. That'll probably be the last thing I do before the release. I think I get all of the resources. Yeah, I think I get all of the resources set up tomorrow. Then I prepare, so that'll have the whole site and everything up and running. And then I set up the MCP for it and do the actual announcements of the release plus all the features. So that'll be nice to have off my plate. I'll just get to worry about monitoring that as well. So gonna throw the game up here again. Be right back. All right, did I get to come back to a Claude finishing everything? Nope. I did collect a lot of wood, though. I need to sell some logs. It's good to see that the logs are dropping on the ground. They're dropping on the wrong spot, but at least they're dropping. So, I need to make it so that they drop under the player. Oh, it's all gone. Oh, no, that was an error reset, wasn't it? Well, that was some shitty timing. All right, I guess I will test this out again and see what happens when I fill up my inventory. Okay, the items are dropping on the ground. This is good. This is good. So now if I crush all of the ore and all the herbs, pick up. Can I pick them up? Nope, can't walk over to pick them up. Oh well. I guess they're out of reach. That's something that we'll have to address. I'm going to throw that into the notes as well. Notes. Collecting resources, i.e. wood cutting. Cause it with full inventory to drop to the ground, but they drop below the resource collected from. This prevents item pickup and makes them hard to see. They need to drop under the player that had the full inventory instead. There we go. So we'll just make note of that. Oh no, we're missing all the logs. Anyways, let's go sell these logs. There's a bit of money. Under 10 logs. Plenty of gold. The cure for love. For love. Also, we're up to level 11 woodcutting. That's kind of cool. Hey, what do MP potions look like on the ground? They look fine. They look like MP potions. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hey, what was that? What was that? There was an invisible thing here. There was definitely a thing. I ran into something. Not sure about that one. Where's my to-do list? Anyways, gotta go train some mining a bit. I could go train the combat level a little bit as well. But none of the stuff that we actually do right now is really going to matter. I just needed to make sure that I was able to test out the MP potions, because the thing is, as soon as these changes are done, I'm going to have to close the server down anyways, and we don't have saving until next phase. So, well, we have saving. We just don't have a way to reload the saves. And being able to reload your saves is kind of important for being able to, you know, play consistently and actually make progress. Drink the MP potion. All right, we beat the boss in 22.9 or 26.9 seconds. Nice. That's a fairly. I'm realizing that it hasn't mattered how many abilities and stuff that I've added. Around 26 seconds is pretty consistent. For like 20 to 30 seconds has been very consistent. Which is good. He really doesn't do much damage to me or anything. He's at really no risk of defeating me, but it's good to go and be able to test out like the items and the abilities and how does it feel doing actual combat with it. trying to test out the burn here to see if I can actually apply it with other abilities. But I haven't been able to get it to apply. I don't think the chain is working correctly. Inspect the chain for pocket sand. I'm not sure it's applying. It's enabling the application of burn with other abilities. Probably best to go and try this on the boss. That'll give us the best idea of if it is working, because we should be able to sort of just start the chain with the pocket sand and then balance it out with the other 3 melee or 3 easy cast abilities. So if we toss out pocket sand and then we just kind of keep going on here to keep the it's definitely not applying. It's definitely not applying with other. I would like to see the pocket sand at least apply the burn. There we go. At least the pocket sand's applying the burn, which I kind of knew it was already doing, but there we go. Yeah, hatchet, throw hatchet is we got reset. Oh, we burn mana, though. We really burn mana. Just gonna run all the way back to the spawn. I'm gonna go buy some vial of water so that I can build, or so I can craft some mana potions, and then running, just run, just keep running. What do? We run. Just keep running, just keep running. Back to the spawn we run. I'm looking forward to having the editor so that I can make it so that I can enter the village from the north side as well. That'll, well, I guess the east side. We'll add the beach as well. We'll add the cliff side. There's a fair amount of stuff that we're going to be able to add next phase. We're going to get to build the world out a little bit. We're going to get to optimize and actually make the mobs more fun to fight, instead of just, hey, we're fighting the mobs. I also don't need this wolf fur. I can just sell this. Open shop. Oh, I didn't want to sell that. There we go. The mechanics all work, which is great. It's just, I kind of don't, nothing really looks great at the moment. And I would like to get I would like to get some sorts of sprites and animations in. That would be cool. I should also probably make it at some point so that I can have long sprites, so that I can have like 2 wide or multiple wide sprites, because that'd be good for mobs specifically. Hey, I think it might be done. It was a fairly long implementation for the whole phase, but that's why we outlined so many different things and inspected them and went through and iterated on what the plan was, what had to be covered, what the scope was, what things have to be changed, which methods need to be added and changed and wired in. So if we're lucky, it should work first time. First time, first try. Unless it hasn't actually been changed yet. Because it's still going. I thought it was just about to be done. So I thought the moment it was doing the full bit, or the build, was the end. Because that's normally what it ends on. So anyways, we'll just keep grinding away a little bit here and there and figuring out what we're doing. So sell the wood because it doesn't really have a use for us at the moment. Oh, good song. Very good song. What you running from? One of these days I'll remember what this song is actually called without having to go and double check. I also don't know how the volume is for the stream today necessarily, because I made some changes yesterday and I know it wasn't going to break anything, and the levels all show sort of the same, but it should actually sound kind of different in the recordings when I check it later. So hopefully it sounds good. Oh, hey, look at that. Oh, that's a free ban. There we go. Don't need that shit around here. Everything builds clean. T11 is now fully implemented. What was fixed this session? Promoted slot width, slot height, slot pads, panel pad, mobility gap, mobility right, plus new ability slot width height pad, non-mobility slots, package level constraints, and render HUD. Replace the undefined ability strip start X / ability strip bottom pad references in tick input with inline computation using the package level constants. Added crystal indicator purple dot on QuickTime ability slot that have applied modifications. Added modified panel render call at the end of render HUD with the correct slot count fallback. T11 feature is complete. Force crystal drops from the boss. Lands in it. Why does it land in inventory? It should be picked up. Right click to a QuickTime ability slot modification panel opens. All right, I'm gonna restart my game now, just so that we can get these changes, but then I am gonna send it off to making sure that the boss items drop on the ground. Oh, wait. Right clicking abilities only does something on Fortify and Nature's Fall. It needs to, and it is automatically opening the window instead of giving a options panel that has the option to modify. This needs to be active. All abilities, not just spells. All right. So that's the first thing to take note of, is that that is a slight miss there. I am, if I do open, like, let's open it for Nature's Fall. Shows O of 1, select crystal in inventory of 1 slot. There's no other buttons on here, which seems to be missed as well. Instead of directly calling open, add a context. So we'll try to get a couple of different things done first. But first things first, we do have to run all the way back over to the boss, fight the boss, try to get a draw. It's a good thing it's a guaranteed drop at the moment, but we do have to go run all the way over there. I should really just consider giving my character a lot more speed for the meantime. Looks like these panels are still, or the QuickTime slots are still loading. This looks fine. This all looks fine. Woohoo, combat level 2, it didn't drop. It shows an inventory. It doesn't have its own animation frame. But if I open... Oh, it's not showing. It's not showing in there either. Okay, okay. Okay, I also can't remove it at the moment. But let's go test this out. Actually, that's not bad. It kind of interferes with some of the rendering, but that's working. I don't think it's actually increased the force. I should go and find another test subject for that. Okay, we can now review. Okay. A couple of things that need to be addressed. One, the boss loot needs to drop on the ground, not in the player inventory. Two, the crystal, the modifier screen. No, it probably helps if I go and stand closer to some other stuff just so you can see something. The modifier screen needs to allow players to remove items, or needs to, or I guess we should start with 2. A generated sprite is needed for crystal, right? Now it defaults to logs. 3, when clicking the crystal to add it to a modifier, it needs to remove it from inventory and show its sprite in the modifier slot. Or I need to be able to click the modifier slot when the crystal is added and remove the crystal. Oh, that's... Hey, it reset on me. On arrow reset, the pattern, the quick time pattern needs to be regenerated and reapplied so that the modified one is kept instead of defaulting back to the original one. I'm debating whether I should add extra stuff as well, or if I should probably just get these things in instead, because I can't remove it. Let's go get another crystal. Ouch, the boss is hurting. Okay, and then it thinks that we can re-add it, which is not correct. So yeah, arrow reset is resetting some additional stuff, or at least it's rebroadcasting to the player that there's additional stuff there. Some things are remaining, so there's a bit of an inconsistency between that. Hopefully that'll get addressed with this. But now I have to run all the way back to the start because I need to make sure that I can actually sell this ability crystal because it gives us like 500 gold. So, but yeah, I do want boss loot to drop on the ground. I don't want to directly give into players' inventories. That's just a preference thing because I like seeing good loot on the ground. I'm planning on adding an animation for it later as well, and it's no fun when it's just added to your inventory. But this is honestly really good for our first pass through on the implementing it. Yeah, of course we have some bugs and stuff that we need to fix now, but that's always going to happen. The important thing is that everything didn't suddenly fall apart and stop working. So that's good. Yo, Jack, check out this weird log I found. Crazy, 500 gold. All right. Maybe I shouldn't have done maybe I shouldn't be trying to fix any of the bugs right now because I kind of am just done right now with my head. Ooh. I would like to turn off the extra lights that I have on right now because that'll be nice on my eyes. But I already triggered... Oh yeah, let's go check what the Strange Tooth sells for. But I already triggered the update, so it's gonna run. Anyways, browse wares. What does this sell for? So I've got 511. Then it sells for 4. No, I want to keep my Strange Tooth. It's worth way more than 4 to me. Do. Do. you. I'm very done with this today. I want to turn the lights off and go lie down. You know, I also wanted to go play some Pokemon Champions. It's like a day or so more left in this current season. So, let's see if I can get my rank a little higher. That would be cool. It's also kind of nice. I got a speaker today, which if I turn up too much does start getting picked up by my mic. But it's very nice to not have to wear headphones again, and I can plug the headphones into the speaker instead if I want to. But it was a bit of a pain getting the speaker set up as well, because it didn't want to actually play any audio output through the speaker when I had plugged into the Wave XLR. But now it does, so all good. Sell the logs off, get a bit more gold. You know, let's grab an iron pickaxe, let's buy some water. Not that we can actually do anything with it at the moment anymore, because when it reset, we lost all our stats. So I'm pretty sure I could, if I wanted to, store my gold and then just take out some gold. I'm not going to take out much, but can I store? Oh, I can't store one at a time. I can only... There we go, 50 pieces of gold. Okay, what do we have here? Clean build. Here's a summary of all 5 fixes. Boss drops on the ground. Handle boss drops now spawns ground items at the boss position with per player offset and broadcasts to the zone. Now carries position from mob position. Crystal generated sprite layered circles with a highlight plus glow ring is used everywhere. Type appears inventory slot, drag, ghost, ground, etc. Click crystal immediately applies. Clicking a modifier item in the inventory while the panel is open directly calls send apply modifier. The old stage then apply 2-step. No, that's not. Click mod slot to remove. Oh wait, was it? I had to click the X. That's what I had to click. Hey, it deleted it. The entire slot bounds, not just when mod slot is removed. Be sure the item is added back to player inventory. Because I just lost my crystal. What the heck is this? Anyways, we can restart this now. If we restart it quick enough, we won't have to worry about any additional changes getting added in. Although I think we did just get the change, so I'm gonna wait a moment. We can look at my nice little 3 notes and a sub note. Woohoo, done. That's what I like to hear. I'm really not good at not working. Nope, didn't want to do that. I wanted to do that. There we go. Okay. So first off, I can now modify all of these instead. Well, they don't over. Okay, so first off, this is very good. This is what I wanted to see. I have nothing in my inventory for this at the moment. I know the boss fight's not bad, but I'm still going to grab some herbs as I run past. So that way we can just make an HP salve. Where are we going? Where are we going? Grab a couple of herbs. Hey, no, run away! Run away! You're stuck on the herb! I don't know how that happened. Probably something that I should look into. Oh, I can't modify roll. I will make it so that I can modify roll in the future, but not at the moment. There's so many more modifier types that I need to add for stuff first. Oh, there's gonna be so much. There's gonna be so much. This is gonna be a very, very long project. Also need to fix that render. Do. 2R. I'm trying to get a bleed and a burn to go at the same time. 2. The bleed is way more common than the burn. Oh, hey, look. We have a... Oh, wow, that is an actual item sprite. that is a... No, I don't want to go back in here. That is an actual item sprite. No, I don't want to go back in here. All right, that's a little buggy. Was the crystal sprite made to be generated? Actually, I can just check this. Here we can go into assets, generated. I don't see a sprite anywhere. Generated in the... where is... Oh. Via the gen list. Why don't I see it? Sprite sheets / generated sprite sheets. This sprite can't be created in the code. It needs to be in the gen atlas / sprite sheet. Anyways, it's cool to see this, but all right. So if I modify Nature's Fall, add this, I see it there. $52. Okay, something's wrong with the scaling on it, but oh, whoops! I wasn't even sharing this. So what happens if I put this on Fortify as well? 3, 1, 2, 3. Nice. Examine. Oh, whoa, that just goes on and on and on. If I apply it to chop, I don't see any difference. So it looks like the modifiers aren't necessarily getting applied, but the mechanic is there now, which is kind of cool. So yeah, there's an actual sprite. That's the first actual sprite we've gotten. Okay. Crystal JSON already has sprite. Column sprite row 1. I need to add frame. Remove the sprite. Remove the procedural draw. Crystal icon workaround and revert. Inventory / world to standard atlas path. Threads. Yep. Good. I don't know why it added all that. Anyways, this is where I'm going to be wrapping it up for today. We got the main modifiers in place. We got the abilities to be modified. We got the bosses to be able to drop items now as well. So we have some cleanup and stuff to do, but we did get the bulk part of this phase in. This is a major mechanical upgrade for the game and something that's been planned since day one. And I'm really happy to have gotten that in for now. So if you've been lurking around and are interested in seeing how the game progresses, feel free to drop a follow, drop a subscribe, depending on where you're at. I will be working on this pretty much every day, and I'll probably do some bug fixing and clean some stuff up later today, because I would like to be able to get started on planning for the next phase tomorrow. So with that being said, I am done for the day.